Join us now in Cedar Valley today is speaker and educator Luann Alemao to discuss the art of tipping at restaurants. So thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, you're welcome, Kayla. It's always a pleasure.
And to start, why should we tip at restaurants?
Well, tipping is an indication of the quality of service. It's not about the food. So you tip based on your experiences with the service. If you don't care for the food, that's a whole nother issue. You don't tip based on that. Maybe, I was going to say, usually that happens in an instance where maybe somebody will even bring you another meal if you don't care for it, or you need to ask for suggestions, but it's based on premier service.
Okay, and so with that service, I guess sometimes people have trouble figuring out the amount they should tip.
Sure.
You brought some cards today. I guess take us through that.
Yes. Well, you can tip any amount you want, but the standard amount is 15 to 20%. But you could tip, if you had a quality experience, you could tip as high as 30% if you wish. So, but let's just start with a 15%, and let's just say the bill was $20. And so we're going to say it's $20, and so how do I figure out? I have some tip cards that I created, and you have it in a calculator in your phone, so you can figure out that way. So what would I leave if the bill is $20? So you would times that by 15%, and you should come up with $3. And so that gives you an indication. That gives you an indication of what you need to leave. You can leave more. Now, leaving less indicates that you had an unsatisfactory experience. And when we think about the people that are in wait-serving positions, they don't make a whole lot of money. Being an educator, I always think that is a teachable moment. Let somebody know what your experience was like so that they can improve the next time. But a real quality experience, we need to think about a quality experience would be, let's say for instance, we had an instance where my husband had a fall on his bike, and we went out to eat, and he was kind of hobbling along. And the waitress said, "Let me bring you an ice bag while you're waiting." Well, you don't think she got a heavy tip? It was her idea. So that upselling, really selling yourself, and that's with any job, is going to get you some rewards.
Definitely. And I guess as college students, what are some tips for us if we're kind of, working on a budget?
Well, if you're working on a budget, then obviously you want to pick places where the prices aren't going to be exorbitant. Leave your 15%. Everybody understands that you're college students and that maybe you can't afford the 20 or the 25. But please don't be the tightwad, the cheapskate, and leave a couple quarters. And if you're really, maybe you shouldn't go out to eat then, if that's what's going to happen, because most wait staff people only make about $4 an hour and really count on their tips. So that's what I would recommend doing.
Mm-hmm. And you said use your phone, or use
a tip card. Yes, and I'd be more than happy to send someone a card if they want to contact me. I give these out with presentations, that sort of thing. And just keep in mind, it's based on premier service, not the person who just brings you your meal and that's it. What have they done above and beyond? Because that's what's going to give them the premier tip.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, you're welcome.
And we'll be back after the break.